sitting in the bleachers in the rain. We've shed a million tears and drank as many old-style beers out at the game. Let's go, Cubbies, Son Ranto.
Michael Cotton.
Son Ranto.
Michael Cotton.
Son Ranto and the lovable Lucy.
Mucho Scali.
Son Ranto.
Michael.
Son Ranto.
Cotton.
Son Ranto and the lovable Lucy.
Michael Cotton.
Son Ranto.
Mucho Scali.
Oh, hey, welcome to the Son Ranto Show. This is the moment that the Son Ranto Show was built for. We take things from a ranting standpoint. We don't give up ever. We will never give up. And we just think that the Cubs should win all the time. And if they don't, we will be mad about it and we will rant about it. And the Cubs aren't winning, so we're here to rant about it. This show is brought to you by our 115 Patreon supporters and Blake Beard's tickets at the Blake Beard on Twitter if you want the best sheets down the third baseline. Also by Rogue Wave Creative for all your branding, graphic, and web designs needs. And the Cubs PS Plus podcast, a North Side numbers game. Thank you for supporting the Son Ranto Show with your patronage. We have, let me introduce my co-host. I'm Danny Rocket. Infield Fly Girls here. How are you?
I am disappointed, but we'll talk about that a lot, I'm sure.
But you showed us an awesome Kyle Schwarber shirt that you have on today.
Yes. So, yes, in honor of the upcoming home run derby, this is the Kyle Schwarber silhouette from the 2019 home run derby that he absolutely won.
Yes, he did. Bryce Harper is a charlatan.
You cheater.
Yeah, Bryce Harper and his dad both cheated.
Yeah.
And
hold on. IFG, you said you were disappointed. I figured you would be like on cloud 9 for the next, say, 6, 7, 8 days until you get to go to.
Okay. So, yes. So I'm in Seattle, if y'all don't know. And so home run, the All-Star week is coming up. I'm going to go to the HBCU game. So I'm really excited about that. Get to see
the historically Black college and university game. Yes,
exactly. So that's going to be a lot of fun. That's the inaugural event there. And then I'll definitely be going to the home run derby. And I just found out today I'm also going to the All-Star game. So Son Ranto Show live. Reporting something or other. I don't know. I'll have all the gossip when I get back.
Yeah, no other show has this. Not even Marquee is going. They've got no budget for it. But Son Ranto Show, we're going.
To be fair, they weren't even going to let the Cubs go. Like any of the Cubs.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about the All-Stars that did get in. There are going to be 3 All-Stars. We'll talk about them. And also tonight, Sandro Marchetti is going to come on the show, and we are going to pick the Ranter Poet Laureate that's joining the Dead Poets Society here.
We are going to have so much poetry today, people. Oh,
get
ready.
Well, Aisle 228 will be won by the new member of the Ranter Poetry Group later on. And what else are we going to do today? Oh, we're going to talk about those All-Stars and go through some of the, I don't know, we'll talk about the gear that they released. It's always fun to when MLB thinks they have a good idea about some stylish things that they'll put out.
I am going to have to do some pre-game shopping, so I might need some help picking out which merch to buy.
Yeah, we'll talk all about it. But first I thought, because of the week we've had, we should take a spin of the bitch clock to start this show. Just like get the ball rolling. Well, actually, I didn't introduce everybody. How about Cubes fan Michael Cotton is here. We already heard from him screaming in your ears and talking about stuff already. But why don't you be the first one to do the bitch clock today because I've been listening to you on Cubs Pod, which is a Patreon only perk that you can listen to our daily show if you are a Patreon member. But Michael Cotton,
by the way, the last two, these were supposed to, Danny, you remember when you had this idea, like, let's do this, they'll be short. They'll be 10, 12 minutes, right? That was our plan.
Yeah.
You did one
half hour long.
You did one yesterday that was a half hour. I listened to it this morning and I was like, I got to keep it shorter than that. I think I went 29 minutes.
I mean, just yelling about bunting, it was bad. So I'm going to put you in the bitch clock seat here, and I'm going to share the screen here of what we got. And
you got to read these off.
Yeah, so this is what we've asked in the Ranter Discord, also on the Sun Ranto Ranters page on Facebook, for some bitch clock grievances. And this is what we got so far. This is an incomplete list, and we had a lot of doubles, of course. But people talked about the team being inconsistent, team chemistry being off, Seiya Suzuki being a bust. Why the fuck should I watch this team is a topic. Bunting. Beer prices / team quality, as in, like, you're not allowed to charge this with such a crappy team on the field, is the idea there. Players playing out of position, weekend night games at Wrigley. David Ross, just general topic, pretending they are contenders. Jamison Tyone presence in the rotation. Losing the DH today / the double switch that happened due to Madrigal's injury, which we're going to bitch about regardless of it coming up on the bitch clock wheel. Also, Morel not having a position, selling at the spin that they will spin us when we sell at the trade deadline. So just the being mad at that, I guess. And then maybe this is a related topic to that last one, but Jed. That's the other
Just
topic. Jed. Just Jed. Listen to a story about a man named Jed. Oh, I think I have to do that.
We got just Jared this week, right? And then now we got just Jed.
So let's give the bitch clock wheel a spin, shall we? I'm going to spin it, and Michael, you get a do-over if you don't like your topic, but I feel like most of these
I'll go for it.
Yeah,
I'm bad at these.
Could it be? Oh, actually, this is a good one for you. Morel not having a position.
Yes. Okay, I can do this.
So, all right. So, I'm going to start the bitch clock.
30 seconds to
Wait, hold on.
Bitch clock. You have 30 seconds to bitch.
Wake the fuck up, David Ross and fucking Jed Hoyer. What are you doing? You have no idea what you have on the field. Christopher Morel is the all-star. No matter what these other fucking people do this week and where they go and what uniform they get, your all-star is Christopher Morel, and you're fucking wasting him by moving him all over the field and not giving him opportunity to play. That goes back to you guys.
Stop your bitching.
How to evaluate the talent on this fucking team.
Thank you. I knew you were gonna. I knew the last thing you were gonna say was evaluate the talent.
I had to get to that. I couldn't finish it. But.
You were bitching pretty good about that on the show on the Cubs pod the other day about the Cubs' lack of ability. And IFG, you were thinking that maybe it would be possible that Christopher Morel might get a shot at the home run derby. Is that off only if somebody quits, right?
Well, there should, I think, still be 2 spots open for the home run derby. They've got 6 confirmed people so far, and I believe they usually do 8 guys. So fingers crossed, like maybe he'll get in. As far as the All-Star game itself, like, first of all, he should have just been named an All-Star. But people tend every year, a few people decide not to go. So there's a chance he might be able to sneak in. Again, fingers crossed. I really do think he deserves to be on the field somewhere. If not at the All-Star game, then in the home run derby. Absolutely. He had that great run of home runs earlier on in the year when they first finally let him come in and play. And I think he deserves the spot.
Dude's on pace for like 50 home runs or something.
He's
I mean,
only played in half the games, 42 games, right? They've played 83 now. So he's played 42 games. He's got 15 home runs. I don't know exactly where that puts him in the leaderboards, but he's got to be up near like the top 10, maybe top 15 or something like that. And he's played half the games. And in the fact that he's been in half the games, that doesn't necessarily say it, because there were at least 5 of those when he was getting like, pinch hit chances and shit like that. Like it wasn't a full, because we know he's not a starter.
Yeah,
he's not a starter. Everyone, I know you love Christopher Morel, but guess what? He's not a starter. He's not a starter. I don't know why he's not a starter, but he's not a fucking starter because Jed and David Ross don't think he's a starter. He's not a starter. I don't know why the fuck he's not a starter.
they call him
I'm
a
losing my
utility.
goddamn mind.
They call him a utility man, and I don't know.
For the record, I want everybody to go back to our first couple episodes of this season where I was telling everybody, keep your eye on Christopher Morel. Everybody's going to underrate him, but he is the one to keep your eye on. If there's anybody on this team that's going to show themselves up, it's going to be Christopher Morel.
And
I love this. Terry E says Ross is sending Master Boney to the home run derby.
He's due. All right. IFG, you want to sit in the bitch clock?
Yeah,
seat?
let's go for it.
Okay, cool. Well, let's give this sucker a spin. Let's see what we get this time. Okay, we've got the lack.
Oh, brilliant!
The lack of team chemistry is what we're gonna be doing here. So let me get up the bitch clock.
You have 30 seconds to bitch.
Anyone remember our 2016 team, how much they all just had a blast? You could have put a camera in the dugout and had picture-in-picture the entire time. Those guys were having fun. They loved each other. They were there. They were a team. Where is that here? We have 100 team leaders and not a damn bit of team chemistry. What are we doing here? Why? I'm train wrecking, but damn it, I just want fun again.
Stop your bitching.
I want fun again. I totally agree. This team is not fun. We were talking about this on Friday when I was doing the Chuggo show and with Cody and Jared Willis, and we were just like, can you think of a moment where you were just like enjoying the personalities of the team all when you were enjoying each other? And
I think I remember it, just thinking about the guys that we still have on the team. I remember Ian Happ with his little microphone doing post home run interviews that we were never allowed to know what they were talking about, or like the waffle maker thing. Or, like if you look around the league right now, you've got like the Mariners have their big trident thing that everybody holds up if they hit a home run. And the Angels have that big Japanese battle helmet. And like these guys are having fun. They're enjoying what they're doing. They are acting like a team. And there's just none of that vibe here. Like I'm not seeing, the hugs in the dugout or the honest affection that a team member has for each other.
The last
on
time
this team right now.
The last time I saw that at all, it was last year with Christopher Morel and Wilson Contreras.
Absolutely. 100%.
That was the last time, when the amazing shot of Morel turning and looking at Contreras and then taking the breath and then hitting the home run. Like
he still does that too.
Yeah, he still does it, but nobody has that anymore on this team. And I agree with IFG completely. They don't seem to just be having fun.
Yeah. I wish I could remember where I read it, but at some point, either I read it somewhere or somebody told me that the Astros had worked out that team chemistry is worth up to 5 wins over the course of the season.
I believe that, especially with a team like this, which is like suffering with like David Ross's kind of, by the book decisions that seem like Ross GPT is running the game or some other entity outside of the dugout. and also on a team that is kind of new with each other. That's the other issue is like you look around this team and these guys haven't been playing together that long. And the fact that it's not gelling doesn't really surprise me. But
Yeah.
anyway,
I
I'm
like
gonna
the
surprise me at all either. And a lot of it is because a lot of them are so old. They're playing on short-term contracts. They are either toward the end of their career or they're looking for their next contract somewhere else. None of
Or
them are
their
invested
kids.
in this team.
or their
And
kids completely frightened that they're going to get sent to Iowa tomorrow for nothing.
because they probably will be, because we have a whole bunch of old people who aren't playing for anything to pay.
Yeah.
No, they're
I like
not
Bernie
paying-
Barron's comment here. Gomes tried to have fun, and I can only assume she is referring to the day that Gomes tackled his pitcher 2 innings too early for the perfect game.
Gomes just wants to have fun. Oh, Gomes just wants to have. That's all
He like
really
thought it was the
wants.
last out or something and tackled his pitcher in celebration.
Well, I'm going to take a spin of the bitch clock before
Let's go.
we just bitch about things that we're about to bitch about. So, Jed.
Oh, I'm so happy for you.
Okay, Jed. Okay.
Oh, there we go.
All right. Let me find my little bitch clock wheel here. Am I okay? I am in position. Is it starting again? Okay, here we go. What's wrong?
Bitch clock, you have 30 seconds to bitch.
Jed Hoyer has never had an original thought in his entire life. He sat there and he was in the shadow of Theo Epstein basically his entire career, and basically was a follower of Theo's. I'm train wrecking. He's a freaking nerd, and he hired a bunch of computer nerds to come out and like spit out data by which he makes every single decision. Man, I failed. I went too slow at the beginning, and then I was like, where am I going with this?
You know what though, Danny? You said the most important part right up at the top. Jed Hoyer has never had an original thought in his life, and you could have fucking dropped the mic on that, because that's exactly what is wrong with this team.
BK writes in, you're only saying that because they're struggling right now. This must be your first time tuning in. Because
yeah, BK, we've been
been
on
always
this for a while.
This is kind of the greatest hits show, really. If you want to be honest.
But I appreciate data more than most baseball fans who have been watching as long as we have, and this game, I will say it. I've said it 100 times on this show, and I will say it 1,000,000 times more. This game is both science and religion. You cannot just stare at numbers. Numbers are not playing this game. Baseball is not a machine where you can put quarters in and war falls out.
Yeah.
Like
I have been calling it art. This show brings art back to baseball with our poetry and with Matt Kammerer's amazing paintings and drawings and things like that. And baseball is art, and the numbers, and you're right. Yeah, IFG, you're more into the numbers than we are. My thing is, I'm not against the numbers. It's just that in my world, numbers is where you start.
Exactly.
That's where you start. You look at the numbers, and that just gives you a baseline. And from that, you need to move forward and learn how to work with the people and use that to your best advantage. But everyone else seems to end with the numbers. None of the other shit matters. They fucking end with those numbers. That's why David Ross brings Mancini in for Jared Young to pinch hit at the end of a fucking blowout game. Like, Mancini doesn't need that at bat.
I like what Terry E says in the chat. Jed is like my dog after a 3-hour car ride. Dude has got to go. And BK says he was talking, or they were talking about team chemistry when they said that. I'm only saying that right now. the problem is we said that before too with the team chemistry because they've just been losing. So it's like as they spiral down the season, and it's just like it is frustrating. But can I just
I'm sorry, but if you go back to the first shows from this season, I was saying even back then that we were going to end up in a situation where we had way too many cooks and we're going to end up with screwed up broth.
Yeah, they just didn't click together, and I don't know what's going on. It's just like, I mean, then you even look at the personnel, and this is something I should have said in my Jed rant because it kind of goes to it's a good segue to our next segment where we talk about today's game. This team has 3 catchers and 3 first basemen on it right now. So what happened today when we lost our DH, when Nick Madrigal pulled his hammy, which, you know, he probably will be day to day for about a week, in which we'll play shorthanded, at which point he will go on the IL and we won't see him for a month and a half, which is how these things have tended to work with this team. You know, we didn't have anybody to fill in over there at third base. So we went from basically having 9 third basemen on this team to having 3 catchers, 3 first basemen, and no third baseman. I mean, because Christopher
we
Morel
do have a third baseman, just nobody will let him fucking play there.
No, I don't. Well, and it killed me by the way, on Sunday night when, you know, we're all bitching about Christopher Morel playing third base and then he just throws one away just so terribly. I'm like, yeah, that we're going to get killed for this, but maybe he wouldn't do that if he had more of an opportunity to play over there. We don't
maybe
have
if
numbers
he had
on
played
it.
That position prior to game number 82. Like, that's the thing. It's like, what was Madrigal doing game 1 or Wisdom doing game 1? They haven't had perfect seasons. They've made mistakes, but you know, it's like, it's just that this mistake comes after literally half the season. And so it feels like, oh, well, maybe they're on to something. Well, no, they've not given this guy a chance at all to play this position and really learn it.
They haven't given him a chance to learn any position at the major league level. They're bouncing him around like a goddamn ping pong ball. Like,
yeah. And today,
give the boy a job. Like, how can anybody learn to play at the major league level if their own team doesn't trust them enough to give them a job to learn?
Yeah, and Ian Happ said it, like when they finally gave him left field and quit moving him all around, he said that really helped him settle in. And I know different players are different. Maybe some guys like to switch it up because it keeps your brain fresh and going. Morel might be one of those guys. He might want to contribute in that way, and they're forcing it on him. But I mean, this is brought up in the chat. I wanted to point it out because today it was poorly managed by Ross to lose the DH because you could have let Jared Young play third base for 4 innings of the game is all it would have been. And Jared Young actually had quite a few reps this year, especially at third base, because if you didn't know, he's kind of blocked by Matt Mervis in Iowa right now. So like he has been taking on more roles of more of a utility role. So you could have moved him over and not lost your DH.
Like, it would not be the first time David Ross simply forgot the designated hitter rules.
So here's the thing. If people did not watch this game, some people didn't. And even the people who did watch this game have no fucking clue why we're annoyed with this. David Ross didn't understand how to use the DH in this situation. So Smiley was imploding. So they wanted to pull him out. But right at the exact same time, Madrigal went down with tightness in his hamstring or something, right? So there's 1 out left in the 5th inning. And no, 4th inning. It was really early. And they had to replace the third baseman and the pitcher. Well, this is a DH league. So you do not have to do a double switch. That's not how the fucking world works anymore. You could have moved. You had Mancini, Gomes, and Amaya on the bench, and Suzuki, who I thought was too injured to play, but apparently he could have because he did. But you could have actually moved Mancini out to first, moved Jared Young over to third. Boom, problem solved. Morel stays as the DH, but instead, David Ross doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah.
Yep.
pretty much.
And this dumb motherfucker takes the DH and puts the DH at third base. And then that forces Fulmer to take Madrigal's spot. And Madrigal's spot was second up
In
in
the next
the next
inning.
fucking inning. So Fulmer's out there. He's a fucking lifetime relief pitcher, played his whole life in the fucking AL. And we have a DH now in the NL. There's no chance this motherfucker's ever got a hit, right? Like maybe he did, I don't know, but he's fucking never gotten these opportunities. And he's out there swinging a bat. Do you know why? Because David Ross doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. Oh my God. And then I got so fucking confused, and we're arguing about this in Discord, and I'm saying out there that all he had to do was put anybody off the bench at third, put Mancini at third, and then he gets one out. They get out of it. Mancini gets to take the hit, and then they have to pinch hit the rest of the game. That's fine. And Morel's playing third if that's what you wanted to do. But you make the switch after your guy bats.
Yeah.
And then literally, I'm telling my son about this argument and what the fuck's happening. And he goes, well, why didn't you just move Young over to third? And I'm like, oh my God, that is even better than what I fucking came up with. Right. And it's just that when people are as dumb as David Ross, and that's where you have to start, is just fucking dealing with that fucking idiocy, it derails your whole thought process. So you don't even see the easy, simple answer of moving Young over and putting Mancini at first.
Yeah, well, and can I bring up something about David Ross that's maybe not his fault? That I want your take on it. But there was a play in I think it was in the Phillies series, and it was Morel. He bunted with runners, I believe, on first and third. Was it first at third? Anyway, he kind of sacrificed the runner from first to second with no outs. And he was the third hitter. He was the number 3 hitter, and he bunted. And then Nick Madrigal also bunted in the same game, and he forgot how many outs there were. And he bunted with 2 outs, and he bunted right to the first baseman. And he was out before Boog even had an opportunity to say that he had bunted, because he bunted. So it was such a terrible bunt. And I guess my question, and IFG, take this first, is that is this Ross's fault, or is this the individual player's fault? Because as soon as this happened twice in the game that people are making these decisions, I'm like, I think that nobody's running this thing. Like,
So, number 1, never bunt. Ever. What are we doing here? Never bunt. There is never a reason to bunt in Major League Baseball. Just don't do it. Secondly, if you have 2 guys bunting, that's somebody not communicating after the first time it happened. Hey, don't fucking do that.
Hey,
Thirdly,
see what that dude did in
for
that
Ross
other
to come
inning?
out and then say, oh, by the way, I had nothing to do with that. These guys were deciding it on their own. And this dude just totally forgot how many outs there were, just throwing his guys under the bus. That's just shitty
Absolutely
leadership.
threw him under the bus.
Yeah.
That's just shitty leadership. So,
Well, and then Morel was like, well, I thought it was the right thing to do. I'm like, well, who told you that?
well, here's the thing. We've got about 15 clubhouse leaders that didn't tell him that wasn't the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Who's doing their job here? At least Christopher was trying.
No,
He's a kid. He's brand new. Somebody lead him the right way. We are certainly paying enough of you to do that.
David Elliott says, now that both leagues have the DH, there's no need for a sack bunt because the pitchers don't have to hit. Oh, wait.
Yeah. Except for today when Fulmer went up there and struck out.
Yeah. Was it dumb for Morel to bunt? Yes. Is it the first time this season he's been in a position where somebody was like, hey, maybe you should bunt? No, it's not. They've made him bunt more times than he probably should have. So he may have gone up there legitimately thinking, hey, they might want me to bunt here.
Well, and I wonder about the pitch clock that they can't really give the signs, because remember, they would look down to the third base coach and he'd be sitting there like doing the Macarena, and then they'd be like, then he'd dig in. And then,
the signs take more than 15 seconds.
Exactly.
They're just fucking all 3 strikes.
Well, you do it with
the
a pitch
biggest
count.
thing for me is Ross coming out and throwing the guys under the bus for it. He's the one in charge there. If there are 2 guys bunting in bad situations, that's on him for not making them not do that.
Yes,
for not having a better plan.
So I agree with that. IFG, I agree with 97% of what you just said, except for when you say never bunt. I actually like bunts. The greatest game I ever went to ended on a fucking suicide or a safety squeeze bunt. It was amazing.
Sure.
Look,
I love a bunt when it works.
There's a time and a place for bunts, and a guy like Madrigal is the kind of guy you probably want to bunt because he's not going to hit a home run. Morel should probably never bunt because Morel could just as easily hit a fucking ball out of Wrigley Field.
Or those like cases where like then they can't shift you anymore. But like when they used to give like basically all of left field to Anthony Rizzo, and he'd drop a bunt, he'd be like, "Screw you, I'm bunting." You know,
look, Kyle Schwarber shift fucking a ball down the third base line to where it dies at the third baseman's fingertips. Yeah, that's great, beautiful, mwah, love it.
Or if somebody's got a no-hitter going,
right here.
Bunt every time.
Yeah, bunt at a no-hitter.
No, but that it's a minor quibble. Look. If Ross didn't tell them to fucking bunt, well, he didn't tell them not to. It's still his fault. As IFG was saying, there's not enough leadership in there coming from David Ross that the players have no idea what he wants them to do when they're at the plate. And that's a problem. Well, they should always know what the fuck they're supposed to do, and not because they're professional baseball players, which is that's one. But B, look, I coach Little League. I yell out there. I see a motherfucker pull up to bunt. I'm like, don't bunt.
Swing away. Well, and we're burying the lead with today's game because really the story is the Cubs were winning 6-0 with a lefty on the mound. And I was told that the Brewers couldn't hit lefties, and they didn't have to because they just stood up there and walked and then got a couple big hits. And hits I put in quotes because for some reason umpires don't call errors anymore. It's just not a thing. Official scores. It is the participation all week long. Jared Young should have made
pod was all about that this morning.
Well, and it wasn't just you. And then the same thing happened in today's game. Jared Young should have made that play, and it opened the floodgates for the Brewers. So you have already a struggling pitcher in Miley who's having trouble locating that curveball that was working so well for him earlier in the year. And now he's walking everybody with the damn thing. And you just got a lot of traffic on the base path. So you don't need your first baseman making dumb errors that are called hits. And anyway, the issue is that we lost the game that we were winning 6-0 because no matter what Grandpa Lossie did, no matter who he threw out there, he tried to play 3D chess with Counsell. And, he announced one guy and then Counsell countered and then he burned that guy and they went for the other guy.
Straight up outmanaged by a much better manager.
Completely outmanaged. Pantsed in Milwaukee should be the name of his freaking autobiography. And it was just terrible. To lose, and it reminds me of that Jake Arrieta start when we went up. Remember they were winning 7-0, and then the Brewers came back.
First inning,
the first inning was just a disaster, and just like this happens a lot to us up there. It feels like, and to be on this already bad stretch where you come home from London, you look completely lethargic against the Phillies. Tyone stinks twice. Loses you 2 games.
By the way, just so other people are aware, if you're not following, the Cardinals also looked bad. They won their first game coming out of London, but then they like late in their second game, they had a lead and they fucking blew it. And then they got their asses handed to them their third game. Like the Cubs were not the only team getting a little
Cardinals won 3 games.
hungover.
The Cubs have won 1.
Well,
Cardinals
but that's
have
the whole week. I'm saying right afterwards,
Yeah.
the Cardinals were a little bit lethargic as well.
Yeah, but we still are apparently just the worst jet lag ever. But but if you look into like, you know, that Phillies series, you know, just we weren't in those games. Like there was the one where they tried to come back in the middle where Morel took that awesome bases loaded walk. You know, that was really impressive. They tried to fight back in that one. Didn't work out because Smiley had already dug him a huge hole with a really bad outing, way worse than today's. And then you had the bunt game, which we already talked about, when they're just making dumb decisions and they lose actually on the margins 3-1. Was that the closest game in the Philly series? Then the Guardians come to town. I'll talk about the losses first. You get a 6-0 late game, starts at 9 p.m. local time, where it rains all day. Fans are there all day long. Stroman doesn't do that well, I think, and we get carved up by a rookie. And
Hold on, Danny. You were in Chicago. Was it raining
Yes.
at 1:20?
No. They could have played the game
played during the day.
Yeah. That was on
and they would have gotten that game in. But no, they, decided to fucking play at night. And then they kept kicking it back till they didn't even get started till 9:00.
And then you had an 8-6 loss, which they were down big, and they fought back in that game. Morel with a dong. He had 2 dogs on the week, and but once again, Tyone had dug them that hole, and they couldn't climb back into it, and end up tying it at the last minute. But you knew they needed to win Sunday night in the 9th inning. You knew that the moment that the 9th ended, that they couldn't get more than that sac fly.
I don't know what you're talking about, Danny. That game ended in a tie.
That's right. Yeah. Michael Cotton did not finish the Cubs pod because
no, I did. I went right up to the end of the game.
Yeah.
And then when they stopped playing baseball, the game was over. It'd fly the tee.
In Manfred Manball, I was thinking, do you think that there would be a possibility that if enough people turned off the game, that they would maybe get rid of the rule?
I would like to think so. I mean, if you look at other professional leagues around the world, in Japan, in Taiwan, and as far as I know, in Korea, they just call the game after 12 innings. Like if nobody wins after 12 innings, guess what? You've had enough time. Then we fly the tee.
I'd rather the tee than the Manfred Man. I really
absolutely
would.
100%. You're still playing real baseball for 12 innings. And if you can't win in 12 innings, then nobody wins, period.
Yeah. So, well,
there's been ties all throughout the history of baseball. Back in the day, before there were lights and all that shit, they used to tie games all the fucking time.
There was a tie in 2016. 2016 has a tie.
On a darkness.
Yeah. 2016, the final game of the year. They just played too long and they're like, this doesn't fucking matter anymore. And they flew the tee, which is an amazing thing people don't remember about 2016 is that what they ended 106, 70 something and 1.
I love it.
So, and then the other game that we didn't really talk about is game 1 against the Guardians, where they won 10-1 and Nick Madrigal hit a home run. And it would have donged in many a park. So, like, it wasn't a cheap shot. Was it little?
Well, 8 parks.
That's
that is many. You're right. That's many, but it's less than 1/3.
Several parks.
At least it didn't land in the basket.
Yeah, that's a cheap shot. But you've won once. We've won one game, and it was the one I just.
And it required a Nick Madrigal home run to win
and
it.
It's just frustrating because like the last couple games, and I know we're talking about the Guardians now, but the last 2 games, like we scored 6 runs. Like 6 runs should be enough runs to win a Major League Baseball game.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always like your pitching should allow you to win a game if you have scored 6 runs.
We got two all-stars, the two ERA leaders in Stroman, who didn't have a great outing last time, but I kind of don't blame him because that was the rain delay, I think, probably threw him off and he wasn't great.
Oh, yeah.
But with Steele in the all-star game, Stroman in the all-star game, and you got those two, and then you got Hendricks pitching his ass off, and then the other two guys, whoever Tyone and whoever else it may be,
I can't
Smiley,
believe we have to deal with this dude for 4 years.
Hold on.
It's automatic loss. It's an automatic loss every 5th
I'm
day.
gonna take the opposite side here, people, on Tyone. I'm gonna defend Tyone right now.
How?
Because in May, Tyone was brutal, terrible. Since May, he's gone at least 5 innings in every game. He's given up
long.
He's given up 4 to 5 runs in those games.
That's terrible.
But now, here's the thing. That's what we call consistency.
It's
And
what we
when
call
you have
Tyler
somebody-
Chatwood.
No, when you have somebody who's fucking
Except sometimes
consistent-
Tyler Chatwood was good.
No, Tyler Chatwood was not. He never made it 5 innings. He was fucking terrible. And he would walk everybody. No, look, Tyone's going 4 to 5 runs, 5 innings. It's consistent. And so when you have something consistent, the problem is, yes, your players have to lift him up. And they only had 7 runs in those 3 games that he lost over that entire over the 3-2 or 2-3 that he went in June. And so, but here's the thing. If you know David Ross, you're going to get 5 innings. You're going to get 4 to 5 runs. Jed Hoyer, you're going to get 5 innings. You're going to get 4 to 5 runs. You know what you do with that? You figure out a fucking lineup that will get you 6 runs. You figure that shit out, or you fucking plan to have Wisniewski come in for 3 innings after that, or you do something. What I'm saying is when you have consistency, you can make plans for it. So while Tyone is not a good pitcher, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that he is consistent, and when you have consistency, you can plan for it. And if these guys had any fucking clue what they were doing, and they could actually come up with a plan that their team, the team they actually have on the field, could execute,
here's my plan.
Tyone would win half those games.
Here's my plan. Play Tyone on Sundays. We're going to lose those games anyway. Exactly. Condense it all into one place.
Tyone's probably been playing on Sunday. That's probably part of the fucking problem.
Well, that was the problem this last Sunday. That's for damn sure.
So Tyone has 2 wins this year, right? The one win was against San Diego. The Cubs won. Well, he doesn't have 2 wins. The Cubs have won twice. But they beat San Diego 2-1. Tyone didn't give up any. He gave 1 dong, I think.
That was his only good start. I mean,
and San Diego has been underperforming worse than
right, but it was 2-1.
Anybody could possibly imagine.
And then the other win was 11-3 versus the Pirates. Those are 2 bad teams, and he did okay against bad teams. But everywhere else, he's fucking consistent. What I'm saying is the abnormal ones, abnormal ones were the ones that he won.
Michael, you're not making any
ones.
sense.
They're just all losing those because Ross keeps running out dumb lineups every fucking
You
day.
don't have any guys.
We don't have a good lineup.
What you're asking
telling
for
you right now,
your ideas are
not as
so
bad
backwards
as their record. Danny on Cup of Cubby Blue. Danny also does a show called Cup of Cubby Blue with Sarah Sanchez. It's very good. You should listen. Danny was talking about it. Pythagoras is broke. Do you know why Pythagoras is broke? Because all the shit happening actually on the field says the Cubs can win. What keeps them from winning? The fucking management. The management of the game, the front office who doesn't have the right players up there. These fucking guys are killing this team. Now, if they were doing the best that they could fucking possibly do, the Cubs are still only a 500 team. But
Well, I don't think that's
They're
true. I think you could,
well under.
if the best you could possibly do, you get like 5 games over 500.
No,
or
no, no,
something
no.
like that,
I'm saying the best the management can do.
Oh, well,
The effect of the management, the best that they could do with this team from what they can handle would maybe get to them 500. But what they're doing right now is they are killing this team. The stuff today with the fucking DH. That was stupid. The fucking getting outmaneuvered by counsel.
Yeah, they're losing on the margins. I get it. That is losing on the margins.
And that's where the fucking managers come in.
Jameson,
but this team is designed to play on the margins.
Yeah.
We were sold the entire time that they were going to squeak in wins around the margins.
Jameson,
but
not
they can't
winning
do that
any
because
of that
Jed
stuff. We're
and
not-
David Ross are terrible. They are so fucking bad at their job.
We agree
that those margins go against them every fucking time.
Jameson,
and I'm telling you, if they were good at what they did,
they would
but
be.
They weren't.
And
they weren't, and they threw all of their eggs into a Jameson Tyone shaped basket.
Yeah, and he's got to be better. And if he's
for
not
4 years,
for 4 years, and he's got to be better. And if I like what Jose Orlando Mercado says out of Puerto Rico, we got an international show today. Yeah. Well, even though it's a territory of the United States, Tyone has improved from brutal to shitty. And we also have Dominic Galoros in Alaska tuning in. So we're on the far reaches of the United States right now.
By the way, getting into the fucking evaluation of talent, Jed lured the Cubs by telling him Pitch Lab was going to fix him. They had some ideas about his arm slot and where he lands with his leg, right?
That's what they said. Yes.
That start was so bad because guess what? Wherever they had him landing with his leg, hurt his fucking knee. He got hurt. Remember?
His groin.
He got all fucked up because of what they're doing. They are bad at their job, and they made him even worse than he already was. Look, I'm not saying Tyone's a great pitcher, but I'm saying if you had somebody who is good at their job in the management roles, you could negate how bad Tyone has been.
I don't know. I think that Tyone was just a bad signing, and what the Cubs need to do.
I agree. He's a bad signing. But
let me finish. Let me finish.
Bad signing. You have to.
You've already said this.
Pain.
Yes, we know your point of it. But I'm saying is what they need to do with this right now is admit that it's a bad signing and fix the bad signing. You can't just be like
because they're not good at their job.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying
they can't fucking do anything with it. They were bad when they signed him.
Well, so what?
They don't know how to evaluate talent, and now that they've got him here, they're bad at trying to figure out how to make the shit box that they have into a turd box.
So let's say every one of his starts, we let him see the lineup a time and a half, and then we bring in Wesneski, who may or may not be good that day. And what?
Or Assad.
Oh my God.
I agree. And that would be
it took you 5 minutes to come up with a fucking strategy to negate the issues that Tyone's having. How come these guys have been doing it for 3 months and they don't know what the fuck they're doing?
Well,
because they're getting paid to do what they're told instead of thinking with their brain box.
And also Tyone was paid to eat the innings. They're going to run this out until he starts to do what they needed him to do, which was be a back end of the rotation guy that maybe he gives up 3 or 4 runs, but at least he's going 7. And instead what you're getting is he's only going 4 and he's giving up 3 or 4 runs in that time, if not 5. And
he hasn't gone under 5 innings since May.
Well, but 5 is not good enough. We were just promised a workhorse. We were promised 200 innings maybe of this guy. So 170 innings. If that happens, the Cubs will lead the league.
If that happens, I'm going to jump off a damn bridge.
Exactly. Well, take Tyone with you because that'll negate the contract.
Terry E says, Killian could have been this bad for a lot less money.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, they were bad at evaluating. And a lot of people, by the way, at the time, like when we got Tyone, I was like, I remember him from Pittsburgh. Don't remember him being that good, though. maybe he figured something out with the Yankees. No, he's got a 4 ERA. Wonder why they went with this guy. Oh, he eats a lot of innings. And like, I even
But
just
Pitch Lab was going to fix him, Danny. They told him. Pitch Lab, they talked about it on the broadcast. They lured him in with Pitch Lab is going to fix you. We've got plans for you. He came in, Pitch Lab fixed him until it broke his fucking groin. And now he can't do what Pitch Lab did. And honestly, I'm glad because he's better being bad Tyone that he just does on his own than he was when he was Pitch Lab Tyone. Because Pitch Lab Tyone is actually worse.
Yeah, Pitch Lab Tyone is worse.
For the record, in the offseason, I wanted them to re-sign Rich Hill.
And he's doing great. Dick Mountain. I mean, you got
they would have ruined him too.
Yeah,
I'm at the point.
Dick Mountain would have looked at Pitch Lab and went,
yeah, I'm not doing
and
that.
did whatever he wanted to do anyway.
Yeah, Dick Mountain's not changing at age 48 or whatever. Yeah, I'm sorry. But yeah, it's man, it is just frustrating. It's like none of the
so
moves.
Frustrating.
Yeah, none of the moves that they hey, our shiny new shortstops and all-star. Let's just take that.
Sure is pretty.
But we do have to take a commercial break. We are far overdue with it because we got Sandra coming on in probably 5 minutes to judge this poetry contest. We're gonna have to move things around a little bit.
Happy news.
Yeah, exactly. We've got poetry coming up, but we're gonna take a quick break. Please stick with us and join us on our Patreon. I also failed to mention at the beginning of the show. We have a contest that we do, #chance in the chat. If you #chance in the chat, you can win a Frank Chance postcard sent to you by me with a message of love and doom. And you will also be entered to win a fabulous sack of prizes at the end of the year. But we're going to take a quick break. Please join us at patreon.com/sunranto to support us. All over Chicagoland, there are thirsty, frazzled, overworked Cubs podcasters who are struggling to survive one more baseball season in the dog-eat-dog world of unpaid content creation. But it doesn't have to be this way. You can make a difference. Become a super ranter at patreon.com/sunranto, where your support ensures that poor, sad, pathetic, ugly, loser Cubs podcasters can pay for tickets and beer, and in turn line the pockets of the baseball oligarch Ricketts family. Just $1 a month can buy a scorecard. $5 a month can pay for guitar strings to write a Cubs song. And $10 a month almost buys one beer at Wrigley Field. Cubs content creators are the lowest pieces of pond scum garbage that slither over the face of this planet. But super ranters help them get drunk and screw off at baseball games. What do you get out of it? The Sun Ranto Show delivered to your podcatcher without stupid advertisements like the one you're seeing and hearing right now. Plus, at other Super Ranter levels, you can get Cubs music, access to private Sun Ranto pages, the Ranter calendar, and special thanks and Ranter recognition in our live broadcasts. Plus, eligibility for monthly prizes. What does Sun Ranto get out of it? Your money. For tickets and beer. Go to patreon.com/sunranto. That's patreon.com/sunranto. And become a Super Ranter today. Okay, welcome back to the Sun Ranto Show. We're just about to do our little poetry contest. We had so many amazing entries, but we're going to get to that in just a second as soon as Sandra comes through and joins us to judge you on your poetry. But first, I want to talk a little bit about something that Carter Hawkins said, and it has to do with some of the kind of the moves that they're thinking about making right now. And I thought of you, Michael, when I saw this quote, actually, and because it's just the double speak and the news speak that you just love so much. And first of all, I'll say how I found this is at Crusette Stan on Twitter. He had screenshotted what Carter had said and had tweeted out, "Quick, someone go punch Carter Hawkins in the face." And I'm like, oh, what did he say? That's what got my attention, you see. And this is what Carter Hawkins did say. The nerd in me here, I guess there's a lot of nerd in me, But when you think of decisions, you think of reversible decisions and irreversible decisions, Hawkins said. Making a trade is an irreversible decision. And with any high leverage, irreversible decision, you want to wait as long as you possibly can. So, yeah, the more data we can get, the more information we could get, the better. But at the same time, sometimes those things hit you in the face and you can't wait any longer and you need to make a decision before all of the information is out there. So basically he said nothing, I think, just kind of said, sometimes.
I don't think he's as much of a nerd as he thinks he is.
Yeah, because
no, he's a full-on nerd. No, and Danny, I
he's
disagree.
definitely a dork.
I think he said fucking tons of stuff. You're like, he didn't say anything? No, he said all the stuff. What he said was, we don't like making decisions. We don't like making decisions. That fucking explains everything. And then he's like, we just fucking look at the data and we keep going. We all know that.
We're going to kick the can down the road as far as we possibly can.
And the only time they make a move is when they get smacked in the fucking face with something like an injury, and then they're forced to bring somebody up or whatever,
or lose the DH.
See, like when you're playing poker, what you really want to do is you want to wait until everybody else folds and then you can win.
Yeah, that's exactly what you got to do. And you never play until you have a straight flush. Like, these motherfuckers sit and they're scared and they're worried and they don't want to do anything and they don't want to fucking make any decisions. And that's why this team's bad. They are fucking, they're so scared that they won't risk anything. And you have to risk in this game. And guess what? By the way, it's a fucking game. And this irreversible decision he's talking about, I've never heard of such a thing in baseball, because what happens in baseball is if you make an irreversible decision, you just lose some games and you fucking start over at the end of that dude's contract or whatever. You want to talk about an irreversible decision? Somebody fucking shoots themselves in the head. That's irreversible. That's not what we're talking about, Carter Hawkins. We're talking about baseball. We're talking about a fucking game. And if you aren't fucking, you can't man up and fucking make a decision.
I am dying to know what I don't have the context for this, so I haven't read it. I've been at work all day doing a real job, Carter Hawkins.
Irreversible decision.
What irreversible decision is he talking about? Whether or not to sell Marcus Stroman at the trade deadline?
Yeah. And I think that's what it is. And
Stroman has very clearly said, I would like to be extended. I would like to continue playing baseball in Chicago.
But that would be an irreversible decision.
I mean, yes.
Yeah,
however, he's also an all-star caliber pitcher, and we kind of need those.
Well, and I just
what's difficult about this conversation?
It's such.
I would like to play baseball. We would like you to play baseball.
Right.
What more data do you need?
You're good at baseball.
Well,
how about we do this together?
And also, it just kind of goes to show you how risk averse this front office is, really, in all ways. Because they're just, raise the floor is one of their mottos, for example. And, shouldn't we be raising ceilings? I mean, I would like to raise some ceilings. Like you gotta,
absolutely. You're absolutely right.
You want some really exciting players. And when they get those guys who just have these massive tools, Christopher Morel is in.
I don't think some massive tools right now.
Yeah. It comes from front office. She's full of a bunch of massive tools, but Christopher Morel possesses such amazing skills. Like, he hits the ball harder than anybody. He runs just as fast as any of the best of them.
I'm sorry, Danny, but he's not a starter.
By the way,
he's not a starter. I don't know what you're talking about.
And so if you, and they don't respect him, they treat him like a Swiss Army guy, a Swiss Army knife. And just the risk averseness that this front office has makes you think that they're going for 500 and the variance thereof of it, which we've already identified on this show. Like, I predicted this team to go 500 and I'm disappointed in them for not even doing that.
We knew this back in fucking January.
Off-season. Yeah.
Like we knew what they were doing. And then
And
a
it's the
week
plan
ago,
for the foreseeable future.
yeah, and a week ago, fucking Ricketts. Obviously, Ricketts isn't watching baseball right now. He doesn't have any idea what's going on in this team, and they're lying to him because he told everybody we are in buying mode. So I don't know what's
They're not
going on.
even in extend the good players you already have mode.
Yeah, you could buy the guys you already have and solidify the team for the foreseeable future, which
You
they've
just
kind
start
of done.
there.
And this is the other thing I wanted to point out about what Carter's talking about the irreversible decisions is that, I know everybody's in love with the prospects. You got PCA coming up in center, Alcantara. Some of the you've got Owen Casey. Like some of these guys are moving through the minors, and they are quite talented. Like there is reason to be hopeful that some of these dudes could be good. Like but we see what can happen with the difference between AAA and the major leagues. But the problem is for the next 3 years, ostensibly, Ian Happ and Seiya Suzuki will be taking up the corner outfield spots as the kind of promised starters. Center field, I mean, I guess that's one of Morel's possible positions that he could play. And so you could, if PCA ends up there, then you want him to be there every day. And then, so I guess what I'm saying is like, we are so risk averse at this point that so we've got these kind of middling dudes that we're locked in with, but we're not going to be.
It's literally killing me that it's actually hard for them to decide to keep Cody Bellinger on, let him ride it out in center field until PCA comes on, and then move Belly to first base. Why is this difficult?
They're actually, and this gets back to the evaluation of their own talent. They aren't just afraid of going after guys that they don't know. They're afraid of using the guys they actually do know. They have guys in their farm system. Jared Young, what the hell was he doing? Why did we never know about him? Look, he may not be a superstar.
Well, I knew about him. I saw him play in spring training. He was always he's been on the roster for forever, but you mean like know about him as being like making a prospect list. Well, go look at his numbers. They weren't that great before. So he's just kind of coming into his own, which is why we're hearing about him,
Right. But they get Mancini. Who's better, Mancini or Young?
I don't know because Jared Young let a ball go right past
Jared Young.
I don't know.
Right now,
true.
Jared Young is better than Mancini. He's better at first base. I'm not talking about hitting. I'm just talking about first base. Mancini sucks at first base.
Well, that's true.
Hosmer sucks at first base. And they picked up both those dudes when they had a guy in Iowa who can play first base.
Yeah, but
better than those guys.
No, but I don't think that's true. I don't think Jared Young
is true.
That Jared Young is a good first baseman. I just don't think,
Is he better than Mancini or Hosmer? That's what I'm asking.
I think they're probably all about the same, to be honest.
And I think he's better than Mervis. When I watch Mervis, the thing that makes me more worried about anything with Mervis, everybody's worried about his hitting because he kind of dropped off when he came up. I don't give a shit about that. I'm worried the fact that he can't play fucking first base. He didn't look good. Which is why
IFG's concept of signing Bellinger to play center field until he is your first baseman.
And Bellinger is the reason I know that those guys aren't as good because when he finally got to play first base, I'm like,
oh God, somebody competent.
Oh, that looks totally different than these other guys. And honestly, though, I think Jared Young, is Jared Young better than Bellinger? No, but he's better than those other guys. And they can't evaluate their talent enough to know that he's better than the fucking dumb signings that they're making. That's my point. That's my problem.
I think the Cubs are probably going to move Bellinger, and they're probably going to try to move Stroman, and then hope that they haven't burned and hope that they haven't burned enough goodwill with Stroman that he won't re-sign in the offseason, because who the fuck else is going to throw baseballs for us?
Oh, I don't even think they're going to try. I think the whole plan has been they try to
Like
sell us
then
that they're
next
going
year,
for
like
it. They're
literally,
not
who
going
do
for
we
it.
have? Like, there's not even anybody on the market.
This
Yeah.
is this
like
is
we're
what I've got.
like forget Otani. Like we're just not getting him. Like it's just.
Oh, he
I
wouldn't
have
choose.
given up.
You could give him a fucking $1 billion. Why would he choose to go to a shit team?
The only thing he needs to do is win a World Series and a Cy Young, and he's not going to get that World Series here.
All right, let me get the final word on this, please.
Excellent point.
Yeah. David
This
Ross flicking off into boomers. Yeah. So we let's read some poetry. We're all very amped up.
do that.
It's been a tough week. And
I'm
so
losing my mind.
yeah, Michael's losing his mind. Just we'll try to get it back with some poetry. Welcome to the show, the author of Aisle 228, Sandra Marchetti. Welcome. Oh, we both have the book. Look at that.
Yay!
How are you,
I didn't
Sandra?
bring my book to show, but yes, I have that book as well.
That's okay. That's okay. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm so excited to be here. I'm really, I mean, I don't know. To tell you the truth, I watched the game today and promptly afterwards, I have the day off, lucky me, took a 3-hour nap and really didn't want to wake up because that's how depressed that game made me. Although, as Ian Happ said after the London series, I was prioritizing sleep, which honestly I need to do. So.
This,
I'm
this
glad-
game broke me today.
Yeah.
Well, you've been all over the place. No wonder you're tired. You're touring the book. You're doing readings everywhere. I'd see you. Where are you? Just so we don't forget, where are you reading next?
Oh my gosh. Well, I have I have a Zoom reading coming up, and I can put that link in the chat in a minute here.
Cool.
And then I'm going to be reading at City Lit Books in Chicago in August as well. I'm taking a little mini break for the next week, but I'll be back at it online with my friend and poet Karen Poppy, who wrote a book about swimming. And so we'll have Olympic sports and professional sports coming together for that reading. And it's public, it's free to join. And like I said, I'll give folks the link. And then, doing a couple more events in Chicago, taking us into the fall. So
Sweet.
It's been great.
Awesome. Well, are you ready to judge some poetry with us? We're here to pick. You were so nice to inscribe this book, and this book will be won by the newest member of the Ranter Dead Poet Society, as what now I'm calling it. But you win the Ranter Poet Laureate, and it's signed by Sandra. So very cool stuff. And I figured maybe we could take some turns reading some of these. So who wants to be up first? Wants to read one of these?
I can. I want to start. I want to start with Artie's poem.
The big one? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this, I'm going to put it up so that everybody can read along. This, and I want to preface this by saying Artie submitted many poems in the Ranter Discord where so many people submitted poems, but Artie was like really prolific in it must be 5-6 poems, but we're going to read just a couple of them tonight, this being one of them.
I wanted to start with this one because Artie calls out literally everyone who jumped in on this, and it's, so that's kind of nice. Sun Ranto Poetry Contest. Ranters writing to see who's the best. With cotton we compare, if ours are worthy to air. Rocket is a pro if you didn't know. The girl of infield wrote a try live during the show on the fly. Submissions by Corey, Joey, and Josh. Lots of people in, oh my gosh. Then Seth, Ari, David, and Bill, whose writings are always a thrill. Even AI got in it. Compete against a computer. I dig it. Next, AJ, Mike, and Chris, whose naughty words I do miss. All kinds of topics submitted to see who's committed. Hope everyone's got theirs in to see who's gonna win.
Very nice.
I really enjoyed the call outs to everybody and paying attention to this whole contest. So that was nice.
So yeah, no, thanks, Artie. That's I think extra points on this one for the call outs. It's just nice to encapsulate everybody here. And let me just IFG, if you want to read one of these, I just want to give we'll do like poet at a time. So Artie had one of these. You want to read one of these and I'll read the other one, or Sandra, you want to read the other one of Artie's?
Sure, I can do that.
Okay.
I'll take the top.
Okay, go ahead.
The Cubbies over the pond hope they hit a lot of dong. On what they call a pitch, let's make the Cardinals our bitch.
Wow, that's quite poetic. I really enjoyed that.
Got 3 hearts.
It's got a bit of a what we would call a volta or a twist at the end. I didn't see the Cardinals are bitch coming, and I really appreciated that.
Yeah.
I was just impressed that he used that in England fields are called pitches.
Absolutely. Really inventive double meanings. I also thought in the first poem that we read of his, the syntax was inventive to kind of squeeze some of the rhymes in there. So much appreciated.
Very good.
Okay. Watch the Home Run Derby X women's softball players flex. Final of Cubs and Yanks. Cubbies winners, much thanks.
Okay, that's for the really not known much about Home Run Derby X that they I guess the Europeans were interested in it and America didn't care, kind of. I didn't care, I should say.
Well, it's kind of a newish event, and it's a little bit of a different setup than we're already used to here. They bring on some like celebrities, YouTubers, softball players, things like that. But Dexter's team won, so you go, we go. We
might have cared, but no one in the United States knew that thing was happening.
Yeah, it was on at 6 a.m. and it was just like,
yeah,
on ESPN 7. It was just like we didn't know what was going on.
No joke.
I am just real quick. I am dropping the link in the chat for everybody to the event for Sandra's next reading. Is this the one that's in Chicago?
This is the one that's online, and it's called Sandy and Karen Show You Their Painted Balls. Ooh.
I was in a show like that once, but we got shut down.
Yeah. It's tough being in burlesque these days.
Yeah, it really can be. So I'm going to move on to another poem here. This one comes from Ari, and it's kind of a limerick here. Does anybody want to give this a shot? Or
I want it.
Okay, go ahead.
To be a Cub fan, you must be a sucker. We get Fulmer and Tucker and Rucker. We shell out for beer and bleacher tickets, lining the pockets of Joe and Tom Ricketts. Next doesn't start here, you motherfucker.
Another surprise ending there.
Yeah. The ranters really know how to like tie a poem together by basically like stopping on your face.
Yeah, I do love that next doesn't start here.
Yeah.
I mean, next could start here, except for this. They just won't allow it to happen. None of the young guys get to play.
So, Michael, do you want to read this? Well, how about I'll read one here. This is another limerick, as long as we're on limericks. This one comes from Seth. There once was a boomer named Bill. Grandpa Lossie he wanted to kill. That lame balding oaf just settled for meatloaf. Now Bill's DVR's in the landfill. Now that's very self-referential to like inside jokes that we make on the Ranters Discord page and on the Sun Ranto Ranters page on Facebook. In that Bill doesn't stay up too late to watch the game. So I'm just explaining this to everybody that doesn't know. Bill doesn't stay up late because he's Boomer Bill. He's a little old. He can't stay up past 9 o'clock. So he asks Siri every morning if the Cubs won or not, and that will let him know whether he should watch the game or not. And
on
if not,
DVR.
on his DVR. And of course, sometimes the DVR just needs to be set aflame and burned when the game has gone that poorly. We just burned Bill's DVR. So that's great. I love the inner ranter play that we're getting with some of this poetry. Sandra, from a poetry standpoint, how'd you feel about it?
Well,
This
I
one.
like that the ending isn't so nice and tidy. You know, I see this poet is trying to force that landfill with Bill and kill rhyme. I'm not exactly sure how to feel about that syntactically, but I do like the Grandpa Lossy. I do like the reference to meatloaf. You know, I wish we were
Hey,
getting
2 out of 3
meatloaf
ain't
at this
bad.
point. I wish we were getting meatloaf at this point. So yeah, I mean, there's an effort here.
God, do you remember when we used to eat meatloaf? I mean, that was so wonderful. Taking 2 out of 3 games.
Oh,
those were the days.
Yeah.
And we would still complain that we didn't sweep, but
Now the
wow.
meatloaf, right? But now the meatloaf is going the other way. You know, it's always the other teams getting our meatloaf.
Yep.
Hey, Danny, do you know which one you want to do next year?
I was thinking Joe's poem. What? Because Joe's got 2 poems, but we were just going to read the haiku.
Oh yeah, it's our only haiku. I like
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
So this one's good, and there's a picture that goes along with it. It's Ernie Banks, this Ernie Banks statue when it was back on the other side of Wrigley Field, and you see the old McDonald's in the background. And there's it looks like Joe's dad is there in the photograph standing next to the Ernie Banks statue. And Joe, otherwise known as Wrigleyville Bum, wrote this haiku. I'll read this one. Took my dad to game. Got a picture with Ernie. Both are my heroes. Nice.
I love that.
I dig
Very
that.
sweet.
That was very nice.
So
believe
I would
that
have said,
did come to us
Here's to
near
Dad.
Father's Day. Yeah.
I would have lost the my out of the first sentence there and just said took dad to a game.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that if I was, which I'm just criticizing a little bit, I think the whole point of this contest should be about to get to be better poets.
Yeah.
We're
I love how
always trying
Danny is being an editor here.
Yeah.
Everything's already been submitted. and
I think
Danny's
he's right
editor.
there. You know,
I
You-
agree.
you
Well,
swap that my out for and
you got yourself
know,
a poem. You
got
got
yourself
yourself
a
a
poem.
haiku right there.
put that on a t-shirt. Shit.
So and I do want to point out that Joe did write another one. It's a little long, so we're not going to get to the whole one, but I do want to tell
A
the
prose poem. Okay.
Yeah, it's a prose poem, and I do encourage everybody to go into the Ranters Discord and check this out in the poetry section. I'll leave it up on the screen for right now, but it's all about him going to a game in the '90s, blowing out a tire, flirting with a waitress, and getting drunk when his friend's dad fell asleep, and then waking up 1 out closer to a beer when the end is near, which is a reference to a Bleacher Bum Band song. So
that's a reference to a Danny Rocket song.
yeah. So
What I
very-
will
well
say
before
too
the
is,
Bleacher Bun.
sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry.
No, you're fine. Joe has done admirably experimenting with form. This is difficult, so I've got to give him props for trying a haiku and a prose poem. There's something to be said for that.
very cool. We have a couple more, and then we'll pick the winner. Who wants to read the next one? Michael, did you have one in mind that?
Yeah, I had one that I really wanted to get out here. It's SB Kennedy on
That's Seth. Yeah.
on Discord. Seth,
I
it's
don't know that I have the screenshot of this one, but you might just have to read it.
Oh, okay. It's the one that has a very long last line.
Okay, I'll find it. Is it okay? I'll take a look for it.
Okay. Well, I can put it in the Discord real quick. Okay. Well, or in the
Just read it. Just read it.
All right.
Whatever's faster.
Well, then it's reading it. Okay. I think that I shall never see a poem lovely as a tree, and no greater collection of embarrassing flubs than these piss poor Chicago Cubs. Poems are made by fools like me, but only God can make a tree. And the lineup that sucks as bad as ours, Only Tom Ricketts, who I hate too much to come up with a rhyme to finish this fucking thing.
Yeah, I can
And
see it.
Something tickets.
so that's so what I loved about that one is obviously that last line kind of blew me away, but it's a reference to and I lost it. It's a reference to a very famous poem.
I never think that I shall see a thing as lovely as a tree. Da da da.
Yeah. And I had it up here earlier just so I knew who did it, but yeah. So I loved that he went into it and followed, sort of a parody version, and then ended it just with the slam of Tom Ricketts.
Yeah, and Seth, by the way, also very prolific, like Artie. Had a lot of good ones in there. Let's see, I had another one of his here. Oh no, that's David's. Yeah, we got a bunch to get through, so I think we should keep rolling with these. Why don't we do one by the famous Boomer Bill?
Yeah.
Here.
Sorry, it was Trees by Joyce Kilmer.
Okay.
If anybody wants to read the original that has a rhyming last line.
Who wants to read this one?
I'm happy to read it.
Okay, please, Sandra.
I would say too, in reference to what you guys were talking about there with trees, is that oftentimes the best thing you can do with rhythms and rhymes is to go against the pattern. So that's what that last poet was doing so effectively. Okay. Top-notch players in their prime. Baseball skills, quite sublime. Must-watch games at Wrigley Field, but we don't have that here. 2 or 3 hits per game. Stranded runners make me insane. Circle of bust, am I right? That's what we have here. Another season can't be saved. Another year closer to my grave. 2016 had a price. That's what we have here.
Nice. Is there a name for a kind of poem that uses like the final line is the same each time?
Well, I think what he's doing here is just using a refrain, so there are poem, forms that use refrains that have, special names, but they have more lines or different meter or whatever, but he's just using a refrain, and I think he's using it effectively,
Very nice.
I agree. That was one of my favorites. It was one of the earlier ones, and I did really enjoy, how he kept bringing it back to that.
IFG, why don't you read Anthony Hutfless's?
Let's go for it.
I like this one.
Sentimentally hopeful, beginning strong. Unfortunate luck, continued downfall. Opportunities missed, God-forsaken season.
Oh, such a dramatic and sad poem.
Sandra, you're gonna have to steal that one for your next book.
It's just reminds me of John Steinbeck's The Dust Bowl, where everything is just bad and getting
so
worse.
Bleak.
Dust Bowl.
Totally, yeah.
Oh man, that's good. All right, let's keep rolling. This one's David Elliott's poem. It goes, Barnhart, Mastroboni, Hosmer, players we never really wanted. The roster construction looks like Indiana roads. The team underachieves while we write poetry and songs, hoping for 500, but who are we kidding? $30 for a beer bat. Somehow fans still show up. The Cubs are even worse than a poem that doesn't rhyme.
I dug this one when I read it because I was confused all the way to the end, and I'm like, oh, that's what he's doing.
That's the bit.
That's
I
the
really
bit.
like that image of the roster construction as like Indiana roads. I mean, that is spot on and unique, creative,
Yeah.
It's total tragedy.
Yeah, very nice. Would that be a simile or a metaphor?
Yeah, it's a simile. I think it's very imagistic, right? It's unexpected.
Absolutely. So I got, I think, 2 more, and then we'll pick a winner. we have Mike Waller and Corey. We'll do Mike's first. So, does somebody want to read this one real quick?
Yeah, I can do this. There once was a farmhand called Mastro. The math said he'd hit like an astro. I did an ad with his name, and he brought me much shame. Turns out he's no Starlin Castro.
Very nice. Another limerick for us. And this final one's from Corey. He says, Cub fan since 82. I was young and didn't know what to do. After 84, I wanted more, as there's a deep drive into left field by Castellanos, and it will be a home run. And so that will make it a 4-0 ball game.
I don't know if I'll ever put these headphones on again.
Headphones on. And also, just so that it doesn't go on to mention, we read this one last week, but Chris Salato also has entered in this one. It's one of the longer poems, but he did rhyme underdog with spagog.
I'll take this one.
Yeah.
The Chicago Cubs can eat my butt. Their crappy play has my fandom in a rut. Trey Mancini cannot play first, trying to kill pitchers while knocking them to the dirt. Dropping throws and fumbling tosses. You can blame him for at least 36 losses. Nico makes me horny with Swanson's dongs, while Morel goes long. Stroman and Steele have what it takes to right the wrongs, but was Nesty's less nasty than we wanted all along. Another down year in a division of mid. Just down another drink and cheer for the kids. As long as the Cardinals continue to suck, we can rejoice to feel alive until the Cubs win again in 2045. And with that, we will continue to cheer for the underdog while I bid thee a hearty spagog.
Nice. Very nice.
Good. Very good.
Man, they really are. There's so many good ones. And I'd like to hear from people in the chat. I see Bernie says they are all awesome poems. Bernie also says we need background music. People like Joe's, but let's just hear. People are snapping out there.
Everybody is so nice here. They're like encouraging everyone's poem. I love the joyous sense of community here.
We have, look, I say this a lot and I can't say it enough. The Ranters are a great group of people. They all get along very well. We disagree often. I mean, I disagree with people on this show constantly, but we do it on Discord every day. And we go through some shit over there just talking about this team. And, but everybody, like, we remain, like, everybody likes everybody. They're respectful of everybody. And when we do a thing like this, man, they really do show up. They submit. They put themselves out. Like, that's a risk to put themselves out there and say, I'm going to give you some creativity here. Yeah, and they do it because they know that this is a wonderful group. And on top of that, they're some of the smartest Cubs baseball fans that I deal with. And there are so many people that just still don't understand what Ross was doing with that DH. Like, they just don't understand the rule. I think his name's Joe Girardi. He still doesn't get what they did. But
Michael, you're going off on a tangent. You were just saying nice things about the Ranters.
Are fucking smart, and they really know what they're doing.
No, I'm not letting you derail this show yet. Once again, we are giving away a poetry book, and you start getting into a Joe Girardi rant. So, like, fuck you! I'm gonna kick you off the show. I will ban you. I will.
By the way, there were a lot more than that. We really don't have enough time to go into it. But maybe we'll read them on the post game show that we're gonna do on Discord.
Yeah, I think what he's trying to say is that this is a safe space to bitch, and we all need a safe space to bitch.
That's right.
Absolutely. So we polled ourselves ahead of the show.
Yeah. We went through these.
Yeah, we went through these before because we didn't want to have to do it live in front of everybody because we wanted to see kind of what people were saying in the chat, but everybody's just being supportive of each other, which is even more beautiful. And Mr. Fourth Row, Artie Boucher, he writes that it's a great outlet, and I agree with that. And because you found it such a great outlet, Artie, and you really were quite prolific in your posting of poetry, and especially because you called out everybody else
And
who
there is
joined.
nothing in this world that I like more than attention.
Amen. So, and because you put all three of us in the poem, you win. So, congratulations, Artie. You are the proud owner of a signed copy. Does this come with a membership card or a pipe or something like?
Oh yeah, we haven't even thought of. Well, it was just me and Sandy before. Now that there's a third, I don't know. Do we need a green jacket or something?
I mean, I have a little bit of a qualm about calling it a dead Cubs Dead Poet Society.
Oh, that's Danny. He's not part of this group. He doesn't know what the fuck he's
quite
doing.
alive. We're vital.
Yeah. We are the poet laureates.
We're vital, and Artie is vital. Artie is prolific. He's putting me to shame with just the amount he's writing.
It's inspiring.
Yes.
Sandra, I was wondering, I'm going to share the link to your book right now that you can purchase on Amazon. And and if you just look it up on Amazon, it's aisle 228. You can't miss it. Just search for it. Artie says, thanks. I appreciate it. Well, congratulations.
We love you, Artie.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I was wondering if you would read a poem from your book and take us to commercial. And then we're going to come back and talk about the All-Star uniforms. And then afterwards, we #chance in the chat, and we will also be on our Discord channel. If you are a Patreon supporter, you get access to our Discord, and you can come hang out with us after the show and keep talking smack about all the crap we're talking about. So
I feel like there has to be somebody out there that wants a shot at me, shot at the title for what I've been railing tonight, man. Like I said, the game today broke me, and I've been trying not to yell at my children all day just so I can save it up for this.
I feel like you did a good job of kind of like recycling the hate through your entire body.
I felt it.
Well, I will read a poem that's in the spirit of all the other poems that we heard. There's one poem in my book called The Unsayable. It's at the beginning. I wrote this poem before the Cubs won the World Series in 2016. And it kept coming to mind as I was hearing the community's poems, because I think we share a special spirit here about being angry at the mediocrity, but yet not willing to abandon the Cubs. So this one... This one is called The Unsayable. The Chicago Cubs went 108 years between World Series championships. If it never happened, would we go on buying the season tickets, scuffling through turnstiles, slowed at the bag check? If it never happened, would we split a pizza and a pop, a bag of chips or a beer, huddling as we handed over the cash? If it never happened, would we still applaud the blue pennant tentative to ascend the flagpole after a series win? If it never happened, would we root on a 500 club, be pleased with less than 200 strikeouts, 20 errors at short? We flicker in our seats, dimly recede, but never leave. Thanks for having me on. Love being a guest judge.
Aisle 228, everybody, by Sandra Marchetti.
I love that poem, Sandy, and it's like you said, you wrote that before the World Series victory, which when you think about it in that context, I can put myself back in that frame, and just it really, like, I feel that in my soul. But what's amazing to me is that here we are 7 years later, And honestly, we have to ask ourselves those same questions
I
again
know.
because
back there.
of what, like, and when you wrote that poem, you never thought in a million years that if the Cubs won, we would ever be 7 years later going, what the hell is going on here?
Yep.
Life comes at you
Absolutely.
fast. Well, please buy the book. We're gonna
Well,
we're gonna
thank you so much for reading that. I love that poem.
and congratulations to Artie. We're gonna be right back, and we're gonna talk about some of the All-Star Game gear, and we'll see you in just a second. Stuff. Hey, Cubs fans, at Amazon.com, do you buy lots of stuff? Why not support the Son Ranto Show by shopping through sunranto.com/stuff? All you gotta do is fill your cart at Amazon with lots of stuff. Then before you check out with all of that wonderful stuff, head on over to sunranto.com/stuff and click any of our Amazon links before you buy your stuff. Check out like you normally would with all that beautiful stuff. And the Son Ranto Show will get a small kickback because of the stuff you bought. And you'll be helping the Son Ranto Show buy all the stuff we need to stay on the air talking about the Cubs and other stuff. Plus, you could win a monthly prize if some of your stuff is chosen for Amazon stuff of the month. And if you win, we'll send you more stuff. Sunranto.com/stuff. That address again is sunranto.com/stuff. If you like the Cubs a bunch, buy your t-shirts from In the Clutch. We've got all the best styles for you. Dansby, Saya, Morel too. Clark Fly in his double U. Cody Bellinger, Smoking Dukes. Vintage shirts from days of old. Patrick Wisdom and Nico. You'll look sharp wearing your stro. 10% off with the code SONRANTO. SONRANTO. InTheClutch.com is your store for the most fun baseball shirts on the planet. Don't forget to use promo code SUNRANTO to knock a couple bucks off your purchase. Stack or die, we need more cups. Get it all at In The Clutch. Cause if you like the Cubs a bunch, buy t-shirts from In The Clutch. Get it all at In The Clutch. Get it all at In The Clutch.
Do you ever find yourself longing for long walks and talks about Ketrometrics? How about a coffee or run differential? Maybe a candlelit dinner dissecting what exactly is the curious case of Miles Mastrobuoni? If you have, I have just the place for you, the Cubs PS Plus podcast. Come join us. Cubs PS Plus, a Northside numbers game, can be found wherever it is you get your podcasts, and on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, all at Cubs PS Plus, a spin on the baseball metric OPS Plus. Are you ready? I'm ready. Here we go.
Welcome back to the Son Ranto Show. Sandra Marchetti has decided to stick around with us and make fun of the All-Star uniforms. We're all excited. I do want to point out a couple things. First of all, on the last show, Andrew Round won the Patreon Patron of the Month that you could be eligible for if you were one of our Patreon patrons. But In the Clutch now sponsors our Patreon Patron of the Month, and what you win is an In the Clutch t-shirt. So this is the shirt that Andrew Round picked that he wanted to win from In the Clutch, and I'm gonna share the link to this in the chat. If you use promo code Sunranto, you can get 10% off
All-Star Swansby Dongson shirt.
Yeah, Dansby Swanson, All-Star. He'll be wearing the fancy, weird-looking uniform that they picked at the All-Star game. And the other thing I wanted to point out is about the Amazon, our search bar at Amazon or at sunranto.com/stuff, where we have our Amazon search bar. It's that at the end of the show tonight, we will be giving away the Amazon prize of the month. So if you shop at Amazon through our search bar, all of the items that have been purchased all correspond with the number, and whatever number gets picked tonight gets to win this cute little thermos man.
I think he's adorable.
He really is. I have not drank out of it yet, but like I have a couple more of these I'm gonna give away, but I'm gonna keep one for myself.
Better than a beer bat.
Yeah, I would
Probably
think so.
good you're not drinking out of the one you're giving away.
No, that would really ruin its value, would it not? So let's talk.
Or raise the value, Danny. You
I was
don't
thinking
know
the
what people
same
want
thing.
out there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Some
depends.
people might find that attractive.
Yeah, well, the people that
I
would
sell
like that,
photos
I don't
of
want
my feet. I mean, people like things.
So let's talk about some of this all-star gear. The first one I'm going to call the Russian flag hat, because it is
That is something.
yeah.
Oh no.
So if I could just describe it really quick, it is kind of looks like a regular old Cubs hat, except there's a star that resembles an asterisk on the upper left-hand corner of the C of the
Kind of fitting
Cubs
for
hat.
this season.
What I find
Yeah.
what I find funny is that they did this on last year's hat too, but the asterisk was on the right side of the C, and so it really did look like an asterisk. And they thought, oh, all we have to do is move it over to the left side,
Now
and
it
then
looks
it's
like
no
an
longer an
apostrophe.
asterisk. What's that?
It looks like an apostrophe now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's still bad. Yeah.
It's just an asterisk that's been used incorrectly.
Well, and then on the side, it's the colors of the Russian flag, which in the same kind of pattern as it. It's kind of like as if like the Charlie Brown shirt was
Yes.
that he was like also mixed with a Russian flag, and then it says ASG 2023, and I can't really tell. Like the stitching is very small and the design inside that, but there's some yellow in there and whatnot.
It's a tiny little MLB logo underneath the 2023, and then I think, I can't be 100% sure, but I think the design is supposed to be the Seattle skyline along with like the Olympic Mountains.
Yeah, I can see a very tiny space needle in there. I don't understand why they went with the red, blue, and white
Well, I think that's
instead of red, white, and blue.
Yeah, I don't understand
Because that's compounding the Russia thing for sure.
But this is just the Cubs hat. I think depending on your team's colors, those stripes change. Am I right with that or no?
This is the practice hat, right? Am I wrong about this?
Yeah, I think this is practice hat because the actual. Do you have a picture of the game hat? Because those are more of the Seattle colors.
I do. This is going to be the on-field hat. Cost about $50.
That's why I felt like everybody's hat has their own colors. So even though ours look like a Russian flag hat, the Astros, looks like, I don't know, a Halloween flag.
So what does everybody think about the official on-field hat, which is
this one I was calling non-sparkly vampire in a teen movie green.
I literally made a PowerPoint presentation for work in this template, not knowing this was.
I think it's even called Seafoam.
Yeah.
Same colors, the navy and the Seafoam.
Joey says it looks depressing like our season. I mean, they call it the color mint, which I don't know.
It's not.
Now I'm going to go opposite you guys, not on purpose. I actually kind of like the color scheme. I don't mind this. Is it the one that I would buy to wear all the time? Probably not, but I don't know. This I've seen worse all-star hats.
Yes.
So it's like
last year's all-star hats were worse than this. This is better than last year, which was that weird, like grayish, goldish, blah, baby poop color.
I almost want to buy this just to drive the rest of you nuts.
I really love the Mariners color scheme. I think it's so unique. I understand why they maybe didn't want to put teal hats on everybody, or navy is kind of blah. So they kind of thought, okay, maybe we'll go with this color of Mylanta. You know?
Mylanta color.
Like the gas X or whatever.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is gas.
Yes.
I'm never gonna unsee the gas X hat.
You know what's
Perfect.
wonderful about this, for me at least, is that I know if I just wait like a month, these things are going to be cheap as hell because everybody hates them.
For sure.
Yeah.
True
So
story.
let's move on. Here's the National League jersey, which I call the screensaver, because it looks like 2013 MacBook screensaver.
Yeah, and I get what they're going for here. They're going for water, right? I mean, the visual result is a little bit like it's a little Cabela's catalog for me.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's got a bit of because at first I thought it was also like camo. I agree.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Right.
A little bit Cabela's catalog. It's a little like hunter, like I'm trying to hide from the fish when I'm fishing, sort of. It's very weird.
People fish underwater.
Yeah, those billionaires in the submersible were wearing these.
And then like the American League one says American across the front, and like this country is way too embarrassing for me to ever wear that.
Well, and I should mention, I am dropping the links if you want to purchase any of these. Please shop through our links at sunranto.com/shopping. These are all at the MLB shop, and they've always got like 30% off codes and stuff like that. And right now the code is pop up, I guess, but they'll have a new code. Trust me, they always do. And this is the other one, IFG, that you're talking about.
Yes, see, it matches my nails.
And let me tell you though, right now, I thought these were great jerseys. I really did. They were the colors, the patterns, all this stuff. They were amazing when my kids wore them 10 years ago in their little league. Because these are little league jerseys. This is exactly, if you go, people in the chat, if you have kids and they get jerseys for the season, this is what they look like every damn time. There's some dad who gets to choose the color schemes, and they always go with it, Cabela's or whatever. They do this every time. And when your kid is like 8 years old, you're like, oh, that's cute. But
the really sad thing is,
an adult, you're like,
if Christopher Morel doesn't end up in the game, I'm probably going to end up with this Shohei Ohtani uniform.
So you're going to get and I kind of, if you're talking about either the screensaver or the porpoise field, one
is like underwater and one is above water. This is like if
Pretty
you're
much.
looking at the water from a distance, you
sky.
can kind of see the green, and then the other one is like dark, like if you're underwater.
Well, at least it's making us think of water. I mean,
Looks
you
like-
know,
This
like
is the whole idea. This
Yeah.
is a very watery sort of area.
yeah.
Tom Cooper says looks like shirts that got faded with the wrong colors in the washing machine, and that's true.
So
Okay, chat, which one should I buy?
Oh, and then Artie says my kickball team did that that color one season.
Proving
I'm
common
telling
sense
you,
there.
those jerseys are available. All you have to do is go out to these websites that sell jerseys for little leagues and stuff. They're all over the place.
Now this is kind of like more of an army green color, and this is like a men's shirt that it's got the walking cub on it, which I really like that logo. That's one of my favorites.
too.
And it kind of looks like Starry Night
Right.
inside it, which is kind of pretty. And then on the back, it's got that same logo with the Space Needle and the mountains in the background, and ASG 2023 with the seafoam green color. And this one is not. I kind of like this shirt. If I was going, I don't want it, but if I was going to the game, and I was like, I wanted a souvenir, I could see getting this shirt.
Yeah, this might be the one that you buy. Yeah.
You get that one in like a 2XL and wear it as pajamas for the next 10 years.
I just realized
There you go.
we need to switch you up you need to be ASG IFG until the end of
Yeah,
the
ASG.
until
Yeah.
I love it.
IFG.
Yeah. So then the next one I want to put up, and this one is a women's shirt, and I kind of dig this one. I mean, I don't know, it's a certain style. Can you ladies please maybe tell me about this style? And I mean, it's
So,
V-neck.
is
so
pregnant
it's a
woman
baby doll.
Cubs fan.
Yeah, this is called a baby doll t-shirt. So it's got like the cap sleeves and the low cut top. And the thing that I don't like about these is that it ends up with like the majority of the graphic, which in this case is like a completely square graphic that's a Cubs logo superimposed on like what looks like palm fronds, which
Yeah,
makes
I don't get
absolutely
that.
no sense for Seattle whatsoever.
Seattle has no. I was just in Seattle, and I know there's no palm fronds there.
I can confirm there's not a damn palm frond to be seen. I'm from Florida. I would know a palm frond if I saw one.
Are these
Yeah,
left
I see.
over from the LA All-Star game?
I don't know, but it's very
I love
weird.
how
But
Danny is like, I kind of like this one, and we both look
Yeah.
at it in horror.
I'm like, I'm not wearing
not-
palm fronds on my belly. So like where this decal is going to land is going to be like right around Kyle Schwarber's arms, right here on my shirt.
Do you
See,
know?
that's why I called it the pregnant lady shirt, because
That
it's
is
like
what
the
this
logo is so low
Yes.
that if you were like 9 months pregnant,
Yeah.
the Cubs would kind of stretch right over the belly.
Well, I'll
That's
tell
I
you.
just
exactly
saw
what
a
this
woman in
is.
the park this week wearing a shirt like this with Metallica on her belly, and she was 8 months pregnant. And I was
Yes.
like, you know what? Props to you.
Well, this is
Seriously.
another women's tee, and this is just the logo, and it's like the regular player logo, but this is also a V-neck. I don't know.
Okay, so I like this one though.
This
Okay.
one's
Too.
definitely better.
This
I
one's,
like
the
the numbers.
decal is up higher. It's gonna, fall in the right place, and then yeah, like you
The
gotta
back.
order it ahead of time. You probably won't get it for a month, but
Yeah, I love the numbers with the skyline looking over the bay. That's really cool.
that's
I
really
agree with
nice.
you,
Or
Sandy.
if it was a crew neck. I'm not into I personally don't like the V-neck t-shirt.
Yeah,
That's just a me thing.
no, I'm with you on that. I usually, honestly, buy like youth extra large shirts.
Right.
They're like
My-
$15 less than the grown up shirts.
Or the men's shirts in a
Terrible.
smaller size. I find that to be a deal too, usually.
Yeah,
So,
but my only question here is, so if you look at the zeros and you see the logo on there, you see the Space Needle over there on the far side, and then it's the skyline, and that looks awesome. But if I
Mhm.
don't get 00, what's it look like? If
Yeah.
it's
Well,
number
I'm
7,
getting IFG 69 on that.
Yeah.
okay. I was just thinking if I was getting like number 7, whatever players there, it's like, is there even going to
Yeah.
be part of
Yeah,
this?
no.
Like you're going to miss
I
out on
think
a lot
they're
of it.
gonna try to make an effort to get the Space Needle and a mountain into whatever you buy.
And Bernie likes
would
it too. People are digging this one. So as I said, if you want to buy it, you can buy it through I just dropped all the links for it. And of course you can put Justin Steele on it, who made the All-Star team. You could put Marcus Stroman on it. You could put Dansby Swanson
You
on
could
it.
put Christopher Morel on it.
Yeah, you can put whatever
Because
you
we
want.
all
Like
know
to put
he's the
Christopher
true
Morel on
all-star.
it at
Yeah.
Cubs.
Now, let me ask you guys, have all of the participants for the Home Run Derby been announced?
No.
Every single one? Okay, so that's what I'm actually hoping, is that Morel would be invited to the Home Run Derby. So,
Fingers
Yeah,
crossed.
we were talking about that earlier on the show. We are all hoping for it as well.
Yes.
It's
okay.
So
because dude
if
would
you
rake.
haven't been following along, current Home Run Derby announced participants: Julio Rodriguez was announced first, Mookie Betts, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Pete Alonso,
Mhm.
Randy Arozarena, and Adley Rutschman. So
Okay,
that's
a
6
wrap.
so far, and I'm pretty sure they usually do 8. So we might have 2 more spots left to be announced before
Heather
next month.
Leinington Noble was jazzed on Twitter today
I'm
about
so
Adley. Yeah.
happy for Orioles fans in general, and for Heather in particular, for getting Adley up there. The fun thing is Adley got super awards in a youth competition here when he was 9 or something. So it's like kind of a homecoming for him to come back and do a competition here.
Oh, that's really
Well,
cool.
I hope in the home run derby we have amazing like trains going by and roof questions and lots of I just think that's going to be a great venue for a home run derby. So I'm excited
Yeah.
to watch that.
Well, I can't wait to get the live report. God, I hope the internet works there. Because IFG, you're not sitting in the home run part though, right? You're in
I won't be in the outfield. So my seats are if you like want to go look it up. I'm in section 132. It's one of my favorite parts of the park. It's very close behind home plate, right over on right behind the right field batter's box. But I'll be back up a little bit further, so you won't see me on TV or anything. But it's a really great place. I'll be able to see everything as it's happening. I'll be able to get pictures and video and stuff. I've bought a huge solar charger so my phone won't die. We are coming prepared for this thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna be in an actual good spot to see the interactions between the players, because honestly, if you get out in the outfield and you can catch the home run balls. But
I will not catch a home run ball. I'm 5 feet tall. Somebody will knock me over. So I'm much happier to be around that.
Yeah, you want to watch what these guys are doing, because they're back there. I remember a few years ago, they grabbed towels and they were waving the guy down to cool him off, and they do all that stuff. And so IFG is going to be in the perfect spot to see that. And that's honestly, outside
and
of
all the
fun
bench conversations, how they sit on those couches and everybody is chatting and
their
children
kids
are running around, and you're seeing who's really friends with who and who might be networking with who. So
ooh, yeah.
Yes.
That's the
Bring
good
the
stuff.
hot goss back.
Yes.
Well, this will be an awkward transition, but if you want to come network with the Bleacher Bum Band this weekend, we will be in South Bend at the first of all, me and Bleacher Jeff are singing the national anthem at the South Bend Cubs game. And then right after the game, we'll be playing at McCormick's for free. And it's just this dive bar that's just it's walking distance, but from the ballpark, maybe 10-15 minute walk. And we're gonna have a lot of fun, so come on out. There's also I will drop a link for this in the chat. If you follow Bleacher Bum Band on Facebook, it is an event that is hosted by the Bleacher Bum Band. And there are also group tickets, and we're all going to be sitting together at the game. And I'm going to drop a link for that in the chat. If you join the event, there's a link to the tickets in the event. So we're all going to be sitting together. It's like this FIVO link. I'll just put it up so everybody can see what it looks like. And you can just type that in. It's fivo.me and then a bunch of numbers and letters and stuff.
That's FIVO, FEVO.me, ME/45VOIZO.
Yeah, and then the last O
is little.
Yeah, it is little something. So I don't really know what's going on with it, but you can find all this link. And you know what? If you want to come and you can't figure this out, just contact me at Ranto, and I will let you know how to do it. So yeah, I'd love to see a bunch of you guys out there. I'm gonna have a lot of fun. Me and Jeff are practicing we're basically doing a rock and roll version of Wayne and Kathleen. Is what it Wayne and Kathleen do the Sunday anthem. We raised the key up a little bit so I could hit the high notes and really scratch
Is
it up.
Jeff going to be singing too? I just assumed he was playing guitar and you were singing.
No, he's singing too. We're doing a harmony thing.
Okay.
And it'll be cool.
I love it so much. Are you gonna end on, I'm no musician, but are you gonna end with the weird note / pronunciation like Wayne Metzmer?
Yeah, no, I'm not. I am doing it straight, and this is and I'll because this will be the last time anybody sees me before this happened. So
are you going into a bunker or something?
Yes.
Clear.
No, just rehearsal.
When you do a South Bend national anthem, the week before, you're in solitary confinement.
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah,
training,
hyperbaric chamber. Yeah.
eating egg yolks. Yeah, just but no, the thing, and here's my philosophy on the anthem is like I've thought about singing it a bunch before, and I never really wanted to do it because everybody grandstands at it, and to me, uh, I don't want it to be about me. I feel like it's almost should be, even though the song's about war and stuff like that. I feel like it's like a national prayer, and that I'm going to ignore the lyrics in a way, and just try to do the melody straight and very seriously, and not try to grandstand and hit all these extra crazy notes or hit something really long or anything like that. Just going to go up there and I'm going to do it straight, and I'm going to try to mean it.
Does it make you feel any better to know that melody is originally a drinking song?
Yeah, no, that's why I love that. I mean, that's what makes me be like, I'll do the anthem. It's an old drinking song. Like, why not? Even though they put war lyrics to it, they put a bunch of other lyrics to it over the course of time. So anyway, I appreciate the opportunity, that comes, Chris. Thanks to Chris over at South Bend Cubs who runs that. If you don't follow at SB Cubs, you should, because it's a great Twitter follow for Cubs fans, of course, that want to follow the minors. But he's the one that did it all, and I don't want to disappoint him. So I'm not going to go up there and do some grandstandy ass thing or hit what Mesmer's note or something like that, or because everybody be like, that's the Mesmer way. I want to make my own way, which is just to do it just straight, as straight as possible.
Do it to the tune of Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Can you see?
I really
by
need
the dawn's
video.
early light.
Yeah.
Here in America. Yeah. I mean, trust me, like I'd love to do the Enrico Palazzo sometime as well. And the bombs in the air.
But you gotta get your foot in the door. You got to do it right a few times, or nobody lets you come back.
Yeah,
that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
This is the only one time to make the first impression. So I hope everybody comes and supports me. That would be really awesome to see you all there. So I do want to. What does that say?
Yeah, it's Go South Bend Cubs. Backwards.
Oh, I got you.
Come on, Cap. You don't know what it is.
So let's do some TFCs, and we'll get out of here. Well, we got to do the contest too, but did I forget to put my TFC? Oh no, I do. Actually, I'm gonna just do the one. Does anybody else? You have one, right, Michael?
Have one. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going to do this one. This comes from a Cleveland Guardians fan who has this to say on Twitter. He said, "Sorry, the Cubs and their, in quotes, their kind and loving fan base will forever be despised after they stole home field in 2016 by buying all the damn tickets. Game 7 would have gone differently in front of a ballpark filled with Tribe fans. So the shutout makes me happy."
Did they not know where to go to buy the tickets?
Tickets aren't allowed. Like, I'm pretty sure Ticketmaster is not allowed in Cleveland, or MLB tickets or whatever they were using back then.
Yeah.
That's a very embittered Cleveland-esque comment.
Yeah.
And what's amazing is that Danny bought 2 of those tickets.
Exactly.
How dare you, Danny?
Oh my God, you've outed yourself they'll come after you now.
Yeah. What do you got, Michael?
So this one is actually, well, I just want to put that up again just because it's fun.
Excellent point.
And then this one, Bill Sugas put in the Discord chat today during the Smiley meltdown. And it is the choking sign, like the sign you see on the wall where it teaches you how to do the Heimlich to somebody. if
Are you
they're
choking? Call 911 if the person can't speak or breathe.
It's just so good because there's no, like, he didn't say anything about it. He just posted it.
Just post it. The
Pull
Heimlich,
sharply inward and upward. Ugh.
the Heimlich maneuver Cubs. Well, I can't. I have to say that no picture really encapsulates this week of Cubs baseball more than this one right here. I don't know if you remember
Christ.
this particular
Yes.
play where a ball kind of fell between four Cubs.
The fact that this is not a picture of the Pittsburgh Pirates is just personally offensive to me.
but it is art, though. Like, I do kind of want a Renaissance painting of it. I might have to ask ChatGPT to do this for me.
Art, but make it sports on Twitter. Send it to them.
Yeah,
For sure.
I might need it. So we're gonna give away a hashtag chance postcard in the chat, and we're also gonna pick a number for the Amazon prize of the month. If you want to, all you got to do is, if you shop on Amazon, just shop through our links, and then we can see the products that get bought, and then those products have numbers, and then you'll be eligible to win something every month, just for helping us out by giving us a little bit of scratch.
And more importantly, we get tiny percentages of those purchases.
Well, that's why I said it. I'm not
And
telling
you know what that money goes to? Tickets and beer.
tickets and beer.
Tickets and beer.
Well, we got $14 last month, so
So we got almost a beer at
yeah,
Wrigley
almost
Field.
a beer at Wrigley, and definitely a ticket. That's for sure. And the winner is number 9. Number 9. Number 9.
Javi Baez.
9
I mean-
times.
Yeah, and that corresponds with this right here. And it is, oh man, I think Artie won again because I know he's a Funko Pop collector. Number 9, Funko Pop Monsters Inc. Sully with B is all I got
Probably
here.
with Boo, Sully, and Boo.
Oh yeah.
So whoever ordered the Funko Pop, you also won yourself this handy dandy little cute thermos
Oh,
man.
you can
The
display
Nick
them right
Madrigal
together.
thermos. Yes.
Does kind of look like Nick Magical. His hamstring.
Somebody said that in the chat. I'm ripping somebody off.
Oh,
here.
okay. Well, it
Oh,
does.
yeah. Somebody.
Artie
So
says not
prescient.
me.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. Well, whoever did it, you win, and just contact me, and I will send you your very own cute little thermos. And then the final competition that we have is the chance, and I'm just pulling that up here. Here we go. We've got there's doesn't seem like there's anybody in the chance. All right, hold on.
I've been seeing people do it.
Yeah,
There's
let
gotta
me
be at least
let
one.
me let me refresh it. Let me refresh it because this happened once before and it did end up working. Okay, I'm gonna give everybody 5 seconds to get in there. I think there's more than 5 entries though.
Everybody post your hashtag chance in the
chance
chat.
again, just in case it did work. If not, if you got in there, congratulations.
Got a 20% chance of winning.
Yeah, pretty much. So I don't know what happened there, the little issue, but maybe this works anyway. Here we go. Oh, that's more than 5 people, don't you think?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. And the winner is Joey, 2 weeks in a row.
Wow, 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah. That means that is one full postcard of hope and another full postcard of doom. And that's what
you know what you should do, Danny? You should start taking the poems that we got and just writing the poem on the postcard and sending it out, and just random poem for these people from this poetry contest.
Poems of hope and doom. Maybe in the off season we do Ranter's Pen Pal and everybody just writes each other poems and mails each other postcards. We'll keep the postal business in business by ourselves. So am I missing anything? No, that's the show. Why don't you come and hang out on the Discord afterwards? We'll be there. for a little bit. We let you talk about what you want to talk about for once. I want to, first of all, thank Sandra for coming on once again and reading your awesome poetry and helping us run through all the Ranchers poetry. Really appreciate you. IFG, it's always a pleasure. Michael Cotton, as always.
Thank you, Sandy. Always a pleasure. IFG. Michael, as always.
Yeah, there you are.
You're there every
You're
fucking
there in
week.
real life. It's been
Michael,
real.
just keep on showing up, don't you?
I'm here every show.
I got fired 4 years ago.
Still got nothing better to do, do you? Jesus Christ, I thought you'd be gone by now. So,
We would have found somebody else, but
yeah, just here, there you
Oh
are.
no, he's tried. They all leave.
Because of you every time.
I'm the only one.
Just keep on sticking here.
Then he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. He's like, well, nobody sticks around because of Cotton, but Cotton's the only one that sticks around. So I don't know what to do.
Yeah, the sound of one podcast clapping. So, all right, I'm going to play a song about another disappointing team. It's the Cubs of 1969. It was
Nice.
before our time. And anyway, I just thought it was an appropriate song. Off the new album. By the way, the album's still available at sunranto.com. And Spagog, everybody. Thanks for hanging out tonight.
Spagog.
Spagog!
When Billy and Ernie and Ronnie and Glenn took everyone for a ride, and Fergie and Randy and Kenny Holtzman had Chicago on their side. The day the astronauts walked on the moon, they beat Philadelphia twice. And the New York Mets were 5 games behind the Cubs of 69. They got castigated by Leo the Lip. They played no home games at night. Jenkins and Hans 300 innings pitched. It put their shoulders on ice. While hippies at Woodstock made love in the mud, the Cubs split 4 games with the Giants. And the New York Mets were 8 games behind the Cubs of 69. The Cubs of 69. They were the Cubs of 69. The greatest second place team of all time. Never led again after September 9th. The Cubs of 69. The Cubs of 69. Cubs of 69. The Cubs of 60. Leo knew who always finishes last. The Cubs were a bunch of nice guys. Santo got jinxed by a little black cat. Don Young was dropping pop flies. Cubs lost 2 of 3 on a trip to LA, while Charles Manson committed his crimes. And the New York Mets were 7 games behind the Cubs of 69. The Cubs of 69. They were the Cubs of 69. The greatest second place team of all time. Never led again after September 9th. The Cubs of 69. The Cubs of 69. catcher bum, Santo heel clicks. AG was out on the slide. Holtzman shut down Atlanta with no hits. The starters were getting so tired. Phil Regan pitched in almost half of the games. Neil Diamond sang Sweet Caroline. So good! The Cubs ended the season 8 games behind. The Cubs of 69. They were the Cubs of 69. Hey! The greatest second place team of all time. Never led again after September 9th. The Cubs of 69. Hey! The Cubs of 69. Hey! The Cubs of 69. The Cubs of 60.
Nice.